I'm Jax Marsh, staff writer for the WHS Powderhorn, and this is a podcast about mental health with Miss Rachel Wood.
I'm Rachel Wood. I'm one of the new counselors this year. And I have the M through the R last names.
I asked Miss Wood about her prior experience with students as a school counselor.
As a school counselor, I work with a lot of students who are struggling with their own mental health or just higher levels of stress or anxiety, pretty common issues that come to school counselor's office.
Yeah.
My experience before coming to the high school was in a K-8 school, so it was similar issues, but just at younger ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, in your experience, I guess, what is like the best way for kids to kind of deal with like stress and anxiety?
Okay. In my experience and in my opinion, I think the best way to deal with stress is to name it, to recognize that like you've got a lot on your plate, or you've got more than you are able to handle all by yourself, which I think in high school might be a really hard step to take.
Yeah.
Just recognizing that like, I think a lot of times we put pressure on ourselves to feel like we have to handle everything. I don't need my mom or dad or grown-ups to take this from me. Like, I have to handle this myself. But the truth is, everybody needs help. Even adults need help from time to time. Especially when you've got heavy stuff in your world. So recognizing when you need to talk to somebody about what's going on, whether they can fix it or not, but just to be able to like talk about it out loud with somebody who cares about you. And get help managing it or working through it if you need it. I mean, I think that's probably the biggest step. I also think just taking care of yourself in general is a huge piece of like preventing stress and anxiety from getting out of control, is to just kind of always be in a self-maintenance kind of zone. I don't know if that makes sense, but
is it like hygiene kind of stuff?
No.
Okay.
I mean, sure, yeah. Take a shower. Take care of yourself. Get your hair cut, like do things for your hygiene, but also just for your well-being. I think a big one is putting your phone down, putting your devices down, getting off the computer, getting off the screen, going outside and doing something. That's the way I take care of myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people in this kind of world that we live in, where so much is social media and so much is, it's so easy to just be scrolling and then look up and realize you've been scrolling for hours, and probably what you're looking at is not helping you work through stuff. Like putting a time limit on that kind of activity and balancing it with doing something with your friends, doing something face to face, or going out and getting outside, getting in the sun. I think is really good for you and really important to make time for, even in the winter. Which is hard because it's been pretty miserable.
I was just thinking about that. I was like, oh my gosh.
I haven't been going outside, and so like I recognize that like I feel maybe a little more anxious than I normally do. It's probably just because I haven't been getting my walks in. That kind of thing.
Same here, because like when I came back to school yesterday was like a whole new like I was feeling a little like stressed out, I guess.
Yes.
You know, over the break with like all the remote and like all that.
Yes.
And coming back to school was like a
Were you
sigh of relief.
overwhelmed or you were relieved?
When I came back, yeah.
That's what I noticed yesterday too. Being out in the commons in the morning was there were the people that it seemed more crowded than usual.
Yeah.
It's like there were more people who were here on time than maybe usual.
Yeah.
And people were standing around with their friends for longer. Everybody was smiling.
Yeah.
It felt good that like I bet everyone really missed their social network while you're at. I mean, like being on remote is okay. You know, it's better than nothing. I guess. I don't know.
Sort of, kind of. Yeah.
Remote school must be really tough for students. I never had to do school that way, so I don't know. But it seems like it must be really tedious.
Yeah.
So seeing your people in person is probably really good for everybody yesterday.
Yeah. So that like makes me think of like routine. Does that have something to do with stress, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like breaking the routine would help, or?
It could. I mean, it kind of depends on if you've got. I think routine helps people.
Okay.
I think having a set time for doing homework, having a set time for your social life, set time for scrolling and doing the social media thing. I mean, like a little bit of that is okay. But like kind of having a regular routine, I think is generally good. But we all have bad habits, and our routines all kind of slide, especially when we have a weird couple of weeks like we just had, or you have a break. You get off your routine, or your routine starts to need tightening up. And so I think it's important, like I said, when you recognize that you are feeling more anxious, if you recognize that like you just don't feel good inside, to talk about it and then figure out ways that you can make some changes. As a young person, you don't always have a lot of control, right? Like you can't always change everything about your routine if you've got a family that you have to do things at certain times, or you might be like younger students might be more reliant on their parents for transportation and that kind of thing. So you're limited, but I think if you can find things that you can have some control over in your schedule or in how you spend your downtime, that can be really helpful.
Okay.
So it's kind of both. Having a routine, I think, is really good, but changing it up when you feel like you're struggling can be a good fix.
So recognition is a really important.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So recognizing it, because like, you know, again for me over the break, I'm like, man, I'll get stressed out. I could just like tell on how I was behaving. I was like, I don't like this.
What were you doing?
I was just like, I don't know, like in particular, I was like a little rebellious. Like I was like, my mom wants to go to App State, but I don't want to go to App State. You know? And usually I'm like, you know, pretty chill with that sort of stuff. But I was like, I felt rebellious for some reason. You know, now like coming back, I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. You know, I'll think about it some more. But it's just kind of funny. I was like, that's not normal.
Were you, I mean, I would say being able to recognize the signs of stress is sometimes maybe easier than being able to name what you're stressed about. Yeah. So like being more argumentative or just like in a bad mood. Like if your mom is saying her opinion about where she wants you to go, that's something she's entitled to. It is your decision where you want to go, probably. But you know, if you felt more irritable over her just, you know, like weighing in on a big decision, that might be a sign that like there's something right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for other students who are, experiencing mental health stuff, how can they get help at the high school?
Oh, great question. I think student services has a lot of, there are a lot of us here whose job it is to assist you with getting the support that you need.
Okay.
So I think the best first step is to, if you don't know who your counselor is, figure out who your counselor is. You could talk to a teacher about that. We have a student services website where all of our names are listed, and you can see who's your person.
Yeah.
I think your school counselor is probably the best first person for you to reach out to.
Okay.
And then maybe like asking if we could meet sometime, having, you don't have to go into a whole lot of detail about what's going on, just like, hey, I would like to meet with you, I'm struggling with some things, I would like to talk.
Okay.
Sending an email or coming down to student services and asking to make an appointment with your counselor, I think is the best first step.
Yeah.
Then when you meet with your counselor, you can go into a little bit more detail that you're comfortable with sharing, and it's our job to assist you if we can, or to refer you to somebody else who can maybe go into more detail about
like
what you need.
In depth, like okay. So from all your experience, what are some of the most common signs of anxiety and stress? Like for me, it was I was getting irritable and all that. But what have you seen in teens?
I think some of the biggest signs that I have seen here at the high school are physically feeling ill or unwell. Okay. If your stomach is hurting, if you don't feel like you have an appetite, you're not actually sick, but like you have your heart is beating faster, you're not sleeping well, those kinds of physical symptoms are often signs of stress. If you find, like, a lot of people procrastinate, but if you are avoiding things to the point where you're not able to carry on with your regular routine, that's usually not good. Like if you're not coming to school, or if you're coming to school really late, if you are not eating, if you are not going to your sports practice, or you're not going out with your friends when you've made plans and then you cancel them, those kinds of things where you're avoiding life, you're avoiding you're not doing your homework, and so your grades are slipping. A lot of times we avoid stuff, or we kind of put things off when we're feeling overwhelmed, and then that kind of spirals, because if you're not doing your work, then you're getting further behind, and then you feel more overwhelmed, so you keep going backwards. And that's why it's so important to speak up on it when you recognize, so that you don't get so far behind that it's really challenging to pull yourself out.
So that sounds kind of similar to depression to me. Is that, do you think those things kind of go hand in hand? Okay.
Sure.
Same signs and everything, and
could be. People use the word depression a lot. It is something that can be clinically diagnosed, but it also also could just be something where you might feel depressed because you've got so much on your plate, or because you've got some really hard things to deal with in your life.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily like, when people use the word depression, it's not necessarily being used at like a clinical level,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of times when we have high levels of stress, we experience the feelings of hopelessness, just being really down, really sad, or even angry about like, how come I have to deal with this and this person, doesn't.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about it. So it's like those kinds of feelings can be really hard to manage.
So probably like one more final question.
Okay.
This is just something I thought of.
Yeah.
Do you believe that there's a difference between stress and anxiety?
Yeah, they're two different things.
Yeah. So like, how would you distinguish those two? And maybe like, how could you recognize
Okay.
one from the other?
Anxiety is worrying about things that haven't happened.
Okay.
Right? You're worried about something that could go wrong, but it hasn't gone wrong yet.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's a normal thing to just kind of like see a possible outcome, like, oh, I don't want that to happen. Ooh,
Yeah.
What if? Those kinds of like what if worries. That's anxiety.
Okay.
And it can easily get out of control when you are worried about something that hasn't happened. So you start avoiding life because you don't want the bad outcome to happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's how I define anxiety, is like worrying about things that haven't happened. Stress is an experience of like something is happening that is hard. You've got a lot of honors and AP classes. Those are happening. You've got a lot of work, and you have to figure out how to manage it. Your parents are going through a divorce, or you're having to move, or you didn't get into the school that you wanted to get into. Those kinds of things are realities that are hard to manage. So stress is like actually happening,
Yeah.
and anxiety hasn't happened and you don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay.
Cool.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that was kind of like stirring my own mind. I was like, so I know they're not the same thing,
People do like kind of lump it all together, stress and anxiety, and a lot of times they do go together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So I was just thinking about that. I was like, I know they're different, but I don't know how they're different.
Right. Well, because when you're stressed, a lot of times you're also thinking, if I don't get this done, then this is going to happen. Or if I do this, then I won't, whatever. And so it's you often become more anxious when you're stressed. When things are going great, you might not worry so much about what's going to happen down the road because things are going great.
Okay. Sweet. All right. I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
I learned a lot personally.
Good.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you learned as much as I did.